now join with me, everybody sing. I'm gonna lift my voice to glorify my King. He is a mighty God and worthy of our praise. We give him everything, he's good in every way. Come on now, join with me, everybody sing. I'm gonna lift my voice to glorify my King. He is a mighty God and worthy of our praise. We give him everything, he's good in every way.
He is always there for us.
He's good in every way.
Pouring out his awesome love.
He's good in every way.
He fills us up with peace and joy.
He's good in every way.
He gives us all we need and more.
He's good in every way.
Come on now, join,
Come on now, join with me, everybody sing. I'm gonna lift my voice to glorify my King. He is a mighty God and worthy of our praise. We give him everything, he's good in every way.
He is always there for us.
He's good in every way.
Pouring out his awesome love.
He's good in every way.
He fills us up with peace and joy.
He's good in every way.
He gives us all we need and more.
He's good in every way.
Come on now, join with
Come
me.
on now, join with me, everybody sing. I'm gonna lift my voice to glorify my King. He is a mighty God and worthy of our praise. We give him everything, he's good in every way. Come on now, join with me, everybody sing.
Everybody sing.
I'm gonna lift my voice to glorify my King. He is a mighty God and worthy of our praise. We give him everything, he's good in every way. He's good in every way. He's good in every way.
What's next? I wanna face this world with wonder and excitement. Face every challenge, every day. Wherever you lead me, I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Wherever you lead me, I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Walk through the valley, climb mountains high. Wherever we go, Lord, you are good. Can't hold me back now. I'm gonna fly. Wherever we go, Lord, you are good. Walk through the valley, climb mountains high. Wherever we go, Lord, you are good. Can't hold me back now. I'm gonna fly. Wherever we go, Lord, you are good.
I wanna live each day like anything can happen. Can't hardly wait to see what's next. I wanna face this world with wonder and excitement. challenge every day.
I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Wherever you lead me, I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. I'm trusting you, God. You are good.
Hi there! Thank you for joining us for Kids Church. Today we get to learn that God is kind. It's great when people are kind to us, but did you know that God is kind too? We're going to look at one example from the Bible when God showed his kindness to some very sad people. The Bible is one example of God's kindness. He gave us his own words for us to read. That means the Bible is true, and we can read it to hear from God. Today, boys and girls, we have Christian and Brooklyn that are going to be helping us with our lesson. Our story comes from Genesis chapter 21. And today, we're going to begin with someone going through a hard time. And we're going to try to experience some of the struggles that she felt. Each person will need to hold a frozen item in their hand while standing on one foot. Let's begin. Grab the frozen item, one for each hand.
So cold.
Okay, stand on one foot and hold out your frozen items. Okay. Our story is about Hagar and her son Ishmael. Hagar was a servant in Abraham and Sarah's house. But Sarah did not like Hagar. Ishmael even made fun of Sarah's son Isaac. Tell about a time someone hurt your feelings by making fun of you. Brooklyn, do you have an example?
Yes. So this boy at school, he was being super mean to me and my friend. And he was pulling my hair, and he was just teasing me a lot. And I didn't like it.
Yeah, that must have been really hard. It must have been really hard for Hagar to see her son being a bully and making fun of someone else. No mother wants to see her child be a bully. But then things got worse. Let's read from Genesis chapter 21, verses 9 and 10. It says, "But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar the Egyptian had borne to Abraham was mocking, and she said to Abraham, 'Get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac.'" Hagar was being kicked out of her home, rejected by the people she spent many years serving. That must have been hard too. Tell about a time you felt rejected or not included. Do you have an example to share, Christian?
Yes, so playing, and then my friends just left me, and I couldn't play with them.
Aw. You know, emotionally, Hagar was having a hard time. But when she got kicked out of her home, she had a hard time physically too. She had to wander around in the desert with no real place to go. Eventually, she ran out of water. Hagar was worried Ishmael would die. Next, we read from Genesis chapter 21, verses 15 and 16. "When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down about a bow shot away, for she thought, 'I cannot watch the boy die.' And as she sat there, she began to sob." Tell about a time that you were worried about someone else.
So at school, I was swinging on the swings, and there was this boy who I seen just out in the yard from my school. He was just out in the yard and he had no one to play with, and I was kind of like sad. So then I went and played with him.
Hagar felt hurt, tired, worried, thirsty, and hungry. Plus, she was hopeless. She gave up. But God is kind, and something good happened next. In Genesis chapter 21, 17 and 18, it reads, God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. God is so kind, and he sent an angel to bring Hagar and Ishmael comfort. So let go of your frozen items, put your arms down, and stand normally.
It's so cold.
You just had to stand uncomfortably and hold something cold for a long time. How did you feel during that experience?
Not good.
Not good. It was so cold.
I just messed up the thing, but it's perfectly fine.
Sometimes life is hard. It can be unpleasant, hard, or painful. That was the case for Hagar. But God is kind, and he comforted Hagar. So now it's time for you to find some comfort. Now that you've gathered your blankets and laid on the couch, and you have what you need to make you super comfortable. So now it's time for you to find some comfort. Boys and girls at home that have been joining us in this activity, please gather a blanket, pillow, couch cushions, whatever you need to be super comfortable. Maybe you can even change into your jammies if you're not already still in them. God brought Hagar comfort, and he also provided for her. In Genesis chapter 21, verse 19, it says, Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. How do you feel now that you have food, water, and a comfortable place to sit? And how does that remind you of what Hagar experienced?
Because you didn't have water, snack, and a place to sit that's comfortable.
And it must have been, we went through so much less than what they actually went through. They were in the hot desert.
Yeah.
And we're in a warm home.
Yeah.
So we experienced way less.
The desert is 1,000,000 degrees.
It's pretty hot, right? So when life is hard, we can remember that God is kind. He is with us, and he wants to bring us comfort. Hagar and Ishmael didn't get to return home, but everything worked out okay for them. And lastly, as we close out our story in Genesis chapter 21, we read in verses 20 and 21, God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. We're learning that God is kind. One way we often see God's kindness is through the people he puts in our lives. We're going to see how a group of teenagers got to see God's kindness in action and be a part of showing God's kindness to each other in this next video.
In the southwest corner of the United States, near the Four Corners area, is the Navajo Nation. The land here can be hot and dry, but even in these harsh conditions, it sure is beautiful. Not only is the landscape beautiful, but the culture of the Navajo people is even more amazing. From their native dress to the ornate jewelry that they hand make and the intricate dances they perform, the Navajo Nation has deep roots in this area. Even in a beautiful place, though, life can be difficult. The hot, dry air and the sandy wind takes its toll on most of the homes in the area. Because of that, God has put it in the hearts of groups of teenagers from all over the U.S. to drive across the country and lend a hand to the Navajo Nation. Early in the morning, the kids and their youth leaders head out to work sites and start tackling jobs both big and small. As you can see, some of the houses were in more need of repair than others. But all the while, the Navajo people showed the kids God's kindness by feeding everyone a lunch of Navajo tacos and even praying with the kids. For the family of a man named Duffy, not only did his family's house need some fresh paint, but they're also in desperate need of a wheelchair ramp. You see, Duffy's son, Troyson, has a disability and he can't walk very well on his own. Because of that, he needs help getting in and out of their house. The kids that went on this trip have experienced God's kindness, and they wanted to pass it on to the Navajo people. Plus, they got to experience God's kindness through the people they helped. It's awesome to see that even in some of the most difficult situations, God's great kindness brings comfort to those who need it. Thank you, God! As the crews put the finishing touches on all their work sites, Duffy and his family feed the crew that installed the wheelchair ramp for Troyson. And as the sun sets on the day, Duffy gets out his flute and plays a beautiful song to celebrate God's kindness and love that each and everyone has shown each other. Isn't it amazing how when we experience the great kindness of God, we can be a part of His kindness in other people's lives?
What are some kinds of things that you noticed in this video? Why do you think God often shows His kindness through people? God is kind. In our Bible story, God showed His kindness to Hagar by sending an angel to comfort her and to provide for her. Sometimes God shows His kindness by asking people to do things like that for each other. Just think, you could be a part of somebody experiencing God's kindness. Thank you for watching Kids Church with us. We hope to see you next time.
Bye.